Do another milepost of the V-Twin life. We talk motorcycles powered by those V-Twins, why we enjoy it, what they mean to us, and just why we enjoy the open road. V-Twin Life is brought to you by CrashIncClothing.com, also known as Crash Inc. on the World Wide Web. Man, Brad is on a lot of stuff. You want to get some merchandise, you want to get parts, you want to upgrade stuff on your bike. He is a dealer for a lot of great companies, so check out CrashIncClothing.com and see what they got for you. Now, we got Wild Ass. You want to add some comfort to your ass? Man, Wild Ass has got you covered. They've got something you like. Use that promo code DWoods. Get yourself free shipping and put that ass in comfort. Can't forget Custom Dynamics, leading the world in LED lighting and LED technology. Man, these got some great stuff. You want to light up your life at nighttime? You want to be seen during the day? Hey, check out Custom Dynamics. Can't forget Lexan. These guys got some great comm units. I just got the new G16s. Man, you want to talk quality? These things are awesome. Loudspeakers, plus they got some air pumps, small ones you keep in your bike. They're ready to go. So check out Lexan. So now, let's get to another milepost of the V-Twin life. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in tonight for Milepost 137 with Austin Leal, because I had a typed his last name wrong, but, you know, can't be right all the time, I guess. So, hey, thanks for coming in, joining, and hanging out tonight, Adam. Or Austin. Jesus, I'm on a roll.
Thanks for having me on, man.
Heck yeah. You know, it's fun. I got to meet you last year when I was down at Brad's for a weekend, and, you know, got to see some of the stuff that you've been, I guess at the beginning, I saw one of your first prototypes, like your gauge cluster, your 3D printing and stuff you got going on. Now you got ADHD cycles going. Pretty freaking cool adventure you got going.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, the first time I saw you, I think it was like version 3 of my gauge relocation. And now I'm on version 20 something.
It looks like your niece is tuning in. She's saying hi.
Awesome. How's it going?
So we'll dive in like to. How'd you find motorcycles? Now, where'd it come into life for you?
So started riding dirt bikes at a young age, probably 10-ish. Rode dirt bikes almost. It felt like every weekend when I was young, but that was my family's like big thing. You know, I grew up in a family of 7. I have 5 siblings, so we would always just pack up, go out to the desert there. I grew up in California, riding out in California City and Mojave Desert area. As I got older, kind of stopped riding dirt bikes. And then my grandpa had passed away, and my dad and all his brothers bought Harleys. They were going to do that together, kind of keep them together after the passing of my grandpa. And so my dad got into Harleys, was going to go to Sturgis one year. I can't remember, probably 2010, was going to go to Sturgis, and his bike wasn't ready. So he just bought a brand new CVO so that way he could go to Sturgis and come back. And so we had the 2 bikes, and slowly he'd let us kids practice on his old 02 electra glide. And that's pretty much how I got into Harleys. And so once a year, or a couple times a year, we'd go do a ride, and I'd ride his old bike and he'd ride his new one. And we did that for years and years. And then I moved up to Oregon, stopped riding altogether. Then went back in 2020 for one of the rides that he puts on. And, you know, my dad's one of those guys that if it ain't broke, he's still going to try to fix it until it is broke, you know? And so he had a CVO Road King that he's like, I've got it ready for you. I put a different seat on and all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool. Fly down there, get on the bike. And he's like, yeah, the starter's not working no more. And I'm like, what the heck? And so, you know, we're troubleshooting, trying to get ready to go on this trip. And finally I was like, you know what? I can jump start it with a little wire, you know, to the battery and the starter coil. So rode that whole trip with a wire in my pocket to start the bike every time I stopped. And he had put like a heated seat on, and it sat me way up, and it was just a super uncomfortable ride. So after I got back from that one, you know, I sat down with the wife, and I'm like, I'm going to buy my own bike. You know, I can't do this anymore. So 2021, bought my first Harley. It was a brand new Road Glide Special. And then immediately voided the warranty, did, you know, cams, chest plate, oil pump, suspension, all the fun goodies. And then got connected with Brad with Crash Inc. And he really stepped up my game as far as making me spend a lot of money on getting that bike up to snuff with everybody else, because right when I got into it was kind of when the performance bagger scene was coming up.
Brad claims to be the hug dealer. I think he's more like a pusher,
Yeah.
Do you need this? It'll be great. Don't worry about it.
He's really good at spending other people's money. So, and yeah, I fell in love with riding, man. I love putting miles down, and I love riding hard. So, and
it's fun. I mean, I like to think we live in a great corner of the country. I mean, you're in Oregon, I'm up in Washington, but we're still, in the Pacific Northwest, and you get up through some of these mountain roads. It is so much fun, and the scenery, and the views and stuff that we get up here is there's so many great roads and great riding around here.
Oh yeah.
Done Mount Hood down by you a couple times, and it's amazing. I learned a valuable lesson one time. It can be 90 plus in Clackamas, and it's not very cold up there at Timberline, or not very warm, I should say.
Yeah, it gets chilly up there. The snow stays almost year round sometimes. So
yeah, and I'm in a t-shirt and a vest because it was hot as hell.
Yeah,
some old guy, it gets cold. Oh man, it's hot as hell. It ain't gonna be cold up there. Shit, it was cold.
Yeah, there's lots of little back roads, fire roads. There's quite a few paved fire roads up here in Oregon that are just awesome riding, man. Like through the woods, and you got like the Painted Hills over here in Oregon, which is almost like a miniature Grand Canyon type deal. A lot of rock face stuff. So a lot of cool riding down here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing 395 south of Pendleton. I did that it's been 24 years ago, and we'll be doing that again this coming weekend. I'm looking forward to hitting that because what I remember, running along the river and the twists and turns, it was a great ride. I'm looking forward to seeing that again.
Yeah, I met Colin with C Cycles. Actually, I'm wearing his shirt right now.
Big shout out to Colin.
Yeah. And Brad, we all met out at John Day, and we were going south to the Bay Area Throttle Fest. And we rode the 395 almost all the way down to like Lake Tahoe and then cut across.
That was amazing.
That was a blast. Those dudes, Colin's fast. So keeping up with him, I mean, we had a blast going through those twisties.
Yeah, I learned that the first time riding with him when he came to do the first running with Monsters Over Mountains, following him. It's like he can boot, scoot, and boogie, and he does.
Yeah, that's one freaking awesome twin cam he's got in that. That
S&S. I think he running the 121. It's impressive. Oh, is it the 124? Yeah, it gets up in boogies.
Yeah. Actually, before I went down to California with him, so I have a 22 Ultra Classic, and it was completely stock. And I had to throw a cam in. I was like, I'm not going to go ride with Colin and not have a cam in this bike.
I need something.
Yeah, he'll leave me. So,
yeah, he's got an impressive build.
Yeah, his bike is fast. He's pushing 150, I think, is where he's at.
I think, I remember saying something about it, and then following was like, dear God, I've got my old 95 twin cam, and it's like, shit, bye.
Yeah. So,
he's a super good dude. I like Colin a lot.
Yeah, he's actually one of the big helps in starting, ADHD cycles. He's been there since the beginning, helping me out. So, him and Brad.
Yeah, both very positive individuals for sure.
Yeah.
So how'd you get about starting ADHD cycles? Let's go down that road.
So, like I said, I got into, bought my first Harley, then got into modifying it. And I was going out to Brad's shop a lot, like almost every weekend going out there. At the same time, like I was building my bike, Eddie was building his bike, Darren was building his bike, Brad had the Crash Glide still, and just had a bunch of buddies down here building the performance baggers. So just being around Brad's influence, really. And then I've always been kind of mechanically inclined. I was auto and diesel mechanic for 5 years before I started this. Went to school for mechanical engineering. I was a reliability engineer at a pulp mill. I was a plant optimization engineer at a box plant. And so just, mechanical things I'm always been interested in. And tinkering helps with the ADHD. So just getting into that, and then just working on different people's bikes and stuff coming through my shop. And I was like, well, might as well make it official. So a year ago, I, got the LLC, did the ADHD cycles things, and I was doing working on bikes during the day. And then I was a swing shift supervisor at the box plant. And so I would get up at, 6:30, get my boys ready for school, take them to school, come back to the shop, work in the shop until 1:30, get ready for work, head to work from 3:30 to midnight, come back home, do a little bit more work in the shop, go to bed, and then get back up and do the same thing. Did that for 6 or 9 months or so, maybe a little longer than that, and sat down with the wife, and I'm like, I can't keep doing this. And so decided to quit the day job and do the shop full time.
Well, and seeing some of the stuff, I mean, I've seen a few things you've done. I mean, it's impressive. And, when you got the mechanical knowledge behind you that you have, and, the support down there, I've seen, I know from my times being a Brad shop, I mean, everybody's always over their bikes there constantly. And, I watch you work on a couple bikes down there, and it's impressive.
Yeah.
And, when you have the passion for it and it's what you really enjoy, and then go for it. It's freaking cool.
Yeah. And yeah, like you brought up, the support is huge down here. Like I said, Brad and Colin helping me big time on the business side, but at the same time, we've got a huge group of friends down here that support our shops. They bring their bikes in for this, that, or the other, or buy parts through us, or whatever they can do to help support our business, sharing stuff, this, that, and the other. But I mean, honestly, without the group of supporters that, Brad and myself have down here, I mean, we wouldn't be nothing. So we've got a really good group of friends down here.
Yeah, I remember you were helping a guy who bought a brand new roadglide ST and stripped everything. It was black and gold anodized everything. And looked at it.
That was Eddie's bike. Yeah.
Yeah. That Saturday, it's holy shit, that's brand new and stripped down to nothing. I think you showed up Saturday night and Sunday, putting everything back together. And it's damn, I'd be scared to take one apart that in depth to the level you guys went, and then, throw it all back together. It's holy crap.
Yeah. Actually, one of the first bikes when I became an actual LLC, the guy bought the bike sight unseen from the local Harley dealership. They couldn't get what he wanted done in time, so they called me, and they delivered his bike to me instead of delivering it to him. And I tore it apart. We did bars, wheels, tires, stereo, all kinds of things. So,
damn,
brand new bike. He hadn't even seen it. He didn't even see it stock. So,
holy crap! And the price of that, and then the upgrades, is I could only imagine.
Yeah. So he was one of my first customers, still a customer today. So,
that's awesome. And, it's the other thing. I mean, I enjoy working on mine. I mean, I'm mechanically inclined, but I second guess myself a lot. It's yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all nuts and bolts, right? That you're dealing with, as long as you're torquing everything to spec, doing everything by the book. It's when you get into the custom stuff that it really starts to weigh down on you. But I mean, as far as doing the normal maintenance or, swapping tires, getting into these engines. Like I said, I've got this bike over here. That one's going to get an engine build soon. So there's a lot of knowledge to be had in the community. So making sure that you're talking to the right people about how to do things is big.
Yeah, having a network, like you're saying, can be very huge for, bouncing questions off and, getting ideas and, making sure, that you're doing right what you think you're doing. And like I said, when you can have that network of friends and people that have the knowledge, it's a great thing to have in your pocket.
Yeah. Like I said, I work a lot with comm, cycles. I've just started working with Kevin at Cobalt Cycles up there.
Mm-hmm. I've heard him.
Yeah, so he just got a dyno. So we're going to be doing a lot of dyno tuning through him. I know it's a long drive, but my thing is I want to be able to trust my tuner, and he's somebody I trust a lot. If I'm going to be spending, or a customer's going to be spending a couple $1,000s on an engine build, I want a tuner who knows what they're doing. So
yeah.
Everybody said, well, 5 hours is a long way to drive. Well, it is, but so is $8,000 a lot to spend on a motor that could be improperly tuned.
Now, is he up the Olympia area, or am I thinking of somebody else?
Yes, he's at Granite Falls.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, and plus, like where we keep referencing Colin of C-Cycles, who anybody listening not familiar with it. Colin, he has a shop in Ephrata, Washington, and does a lot of custom builds, and very also knowledgeable and one heck of a mechanic also.
Yeah, Colin's an awesome dude. So yeah, he's helped me out tremendously. I'll never be able to repay him for how much he's done for me. So
and it's amazing to have those friends and to be able to have the backing and support, and then at the end of the day, it's a good friend that you enjoy, and we all share that camaraderie, and it's super cool.
Yeah. And what's funny is that, so I met Colin 2 years ago at the Brad's Pac West V-Twin show. And before that, Brad was like, you got to meet my buddy. His name is Colin. He's like, you and him are going to hit it off. And I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. And Brad's like, no, like seriously, you two are going to hit it off. And quite literally, like Colin and I are pretty much like the same dude. Like I said, he has his shop. He's got a day job. He works in the wind industry. So he does that during the day and then works in his shop in the afternoon. And me and him talk constantly. We're about the only ones still working out in the shop come, 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, just working on bikes and talking shit to each other. So
yeah, bike builder and international travel extraordinaire.
Yeah, he just got back from Denmark, actually.
Yeah.
So. But no, he's got a lot of knowledge to share. So it's been great to know the right people.
So what got you going down the avenue, like your 3D printing and doing, making some of your own custom parts?
So like making custom parts, really, like the gauge relocation is solving a problem that I had that nobody else had a solution to. So the first thing that I got into, like 3D printing and stuff like that, it was RC cars that got me into 3D printing. And then writing, the gauge relocation was one of the first things that I tackled. So I had the thrash and set up on my roadglide, and you can't see your gauges fully when they're mounted in the factory nacelle. I did not want to put them in front of my stereo because then I can't see my navigation or anything like that from the stereo. And then I didn't want them close to me on the bars at all. So I wanted to put them up on the vent of the roadglide. And so looked into who made vent gauge or the vent gauge relocations. And it was pretty much Big Bear Choppers was the only one who made one at the time, I think. And I was looking at his, and it was, to me, like big and bulky. I like stuff really sleek, really minimalistic. And so I got to working on that and solved my own issue with that. And so put it on my bike, got some traction from putting it on my bike. People liked it. So just started making them and selling them for other people to be able to get. And I think right now I've got 4 other bikes running that gauge relocation.
Nice.
So, but then it just got into like making other stuff custom that I want. So I saw one bike online that had a BMW front fender, and I'm like, I want that on my bike, you know. So bought the fender, and then just designed the bracket to put that fender on my bike. So just doing certain things like that, or just solving little issues. I had a one finger clutch on my old bike, and I hate the clamshell comes together and you got this whole recessed area and then just a small perch clamp. And so I built a whole, or designed a filler panel that goes into that perch clamp, so that way it just looks better.
Cleaner.
Yeah. So
that's
really
the fun
all
part of it. Like you're saying, you get a bike and you do the little things and make it your own.
Yeah.
Which is, I think the end goal of everybody, you buy a bike, cool, now get your stuff, do what you want to make it a part of your personality and build it to fit you.
Yeah. And honestly, that's like, why I bought the bike in the first place. Like my dad set that road kink up for what he thought I would like, because it's what he likes, and I was miserable. So I mean, and that's like when customers come in and they ask me any of the ergonomic questions, seat, bars, and floorboards, or like foot positioning, I can point them in a direction, but I will never tell people you need this and you need that, because everybody's different.
Right. Very true. Nobody's built the same, and everybody's going to have their own opinions of what fits them. And, that could be the shitty part with seats, because that's not freaking cheap, going down that road to figure out which one you like. And, I've had a lot of friends that ran older Saddlemans and loved them. And then I don't know if they changed something in their products, but, a good friend of mine bought the same Saddleman he had on his 16 Road King. He bought a 21, bought the same one. It wouldn't break in. He absolutely hated it. And he was going to send it back, and realized the day he went to, he was one day past his window to send it back. He's like, cool, I got $1,000 seats going to sit on my shelf now. And he put a couple thousand miles in that month, and he goes, I don't know if they changed something. He's like, but it ain't the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Like when the SDC Saddlemans were real big, with the backrest and everything like that, the San Diego Custom Saddlemans, I think we had 4 or 5 people running the same seat up here, and you sat on all of them and they all felt different.
Which is weird.
Yeah. So I don't know. I may give LaPera a try next.
I got the factory seat, but then I got the wild ass topper on it, and it makes it comfortable. And for me, it works awesome. And, for me, it's like, I love the wild ass.
Yeah.
It works great. Yeah, it's all about comfort. What works for you?
Yeah. Now, I will suggest, like, for most people, I do enjoy the bar and riser setup, because the amount of adjustability you get out of a bar and riser setup.
So, what about risers now? Have you done risers with stock bars just to bring them up and relocate them, but keeping the stock bars?
I haven't. I may be doing that on a newer ST. We got a customer that has bought the Thrashing bars, and he's got a newer, I should say, Softail ST lowrider. We're going to try the Thrashing risers and the stock bar, and then we're going to try the Thrashing risers with the mid-bend bar. But as far as doing a bagger or a touring bike with the stock bars, I don't think you can really get what you're looking for.
I know. I've been toying with the idea of trying like a 4 or 5 inch riser, a 4-inch riser, and leaving the stock bars. See if even if I went up 3, back 2, just to see if there's. I don't even know. I haven't dove down deep enough to see if they have something in what I'm looking for. But I don't know. I've been giving it kind of thoughts instead of changing the whole bars. See if I could find a set of risers.
Yeah. And so that's on my Ultra. Once again, I wanted to be able to see my navigation and screen and everything. So I went with TC Bros pullback riser, because they have a really aggressive pullback, like almost a 2-inch pullback. and I went only a 6-inch rise, so I can still see my dash and everything, and then went with Thrashin's high bend bars. To the average rider, it's a pretty low setup, but it works for me. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not a super tall guy, but I hate the stock bars on my roadglide, and I want to do something. But it's not so much say I hate the bars; it just they don't really get to that right position. I mean, I've made it work for years, but I'd love to change it.
right, and that's why I mean the bar and riser setup is to me one of the best, because you have straight risers, pullback risers. You got plates that you can put on, the pullback plates, and then once you get that positioning, then with your bars you can adjust your sweep with a different bar, rolling it forward or back or something like that. So
The other thing I found is so many bars, like I don't have mine aren't internal wired, and that's been looking more and more, and it seems like everything is all for internal wire. Well, not everything, but a lot of the market is all gone for the internal wiring for that, that cleaner look, which I get, but it's like, I don't want to do that.
sometimes it's not fun, especially if you order meat hooks. I'm charging you extra.
Oh, and Brad had a set last year when we went down there. That first Saturday night, we got everything, got the new bars put on and doing all the stuff. He's like, oh shit, these are internal wire bars. He goes, they ain't gonna work. And well, we could pull every pin, all these wires. And like, dude, we're not doing that. That's ours, Brad. I was like, no.
Yeah.
We'll just put the others back on. I'll make do, and I'll figure it out down the road another time. I said, we're not gonna pull all the wiring apart and wire by wire. I'm like, no, I'm not. Nope. I don't have the patience, and that's like, I appreciate all the help Brad was giving me, when he did the new front end and everything on the road glide. I'm like, nah, we're good, buddy. We'll just leave it.
Yeah.
We'll take those off and put everything back on the other ones and piss on that idea. It was a good idea, but no.
Yeah, well, that's why, when you give somebody a price for bars, I'm like, oh, isn't it real quick swap out? Well, it could be, but if it's internally wired, it's not going to be.
Yeah. Because that is a whole nother ball game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see where the fish hooks, that would be a pain in the ass of the meat hooks.
Oh, yeah.
With that bend right at the top.
Yeah, well, most of the time they don't clean up if, these customers want to buy Amazon bars and subpar bars. They don't clean up the inside radius. So you end up getting all your wiring caught right there.
Yeah, I could see that. That'd test my patience beyond my limits probably.
Mm-hmm.
So besides the camps, have you done much more to your Ultra that you're riding now? Because, you see some of the videos. I mean, you're, pulling wheelies down the road and like, it can't be all stop.
So, yeah, the funny part about that is when I went down to California, there was met a guy down there, and he has a super, super clean road glide build, Paul Grim Pablo. And I mean, it's his is a 107 with a cam and Bassani pipe and air cleaner in it. Super nice looking bike. And I told him, because at the time my bike just had the factory head pipe, a Bassani slip on, the cam, and the stock air cleaner. And I told him, yeah, it's completely stock. And we get out on the freeway and we do a pull, and I pull on him. And we get to the next gas station. He's like, that thing's not stock. And I'm like, you're right. I put bars on it, And he's all, no, really, what'd you do? And I was like, yeah, I think I put that slip on it, and the Bassani slip-ons had like, 30 horse, just messing with him. But yeah, as it sits right now, it's got a Fab 28 pipe that I just put on it. SNS air cleaner and cam, and I'm going to take it up to Kevin, and we're going to do some like nerd testing on it. We're going to test different pipes, different air cleaners, cams, and injectors and throttle bodies on it, just to kind of see what each one does. Because when you have a shop like this, especially like him too, when a customer comes in, you want to be able to give them exactly what they're asking for the least amount of money, right? So they say, well, I want a bike that runs well at this RPM, or I want a bike that I can do a lot of touring on, but I can pass cars when I need to, or something like that. So my bike is kind of going to be the guinea pig for that.
I'd like to see my dad's road glide get on a dyno with. I mean, he has the 107, but last year he's got the 4.5-inch Chromeworks, the Bazzani True Duals, the Woods Cam. The high flow, the SNS oil pump, air cleaner. Uh, I think that's it. And then he went with I think it's a Fuel Moto tuner. But I know even when he got on after all the work, it was literally like a different bike.
Yeah,
He's like, you swear it's a complete new engine.
Is it M8?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had like 25,000 miles, and he bought it from Northwest Harley, which if you let them do all the maintenance, it's a lifetime powertrain warranty. But, Dad and I, being mechanically inclined, we've always done all of our own maintenance. And he got to the point, he's like, I got 25,000 miles. He's like, and I'm tired of spending my money over there. He's like, piss on it. I'm going to fucking void my warranty.
Yeah.
And so he bought all the goodies.
I think I voided the Ultra warranty after 4,000 or 5,000 miles. Luckily, I waited because in 4,000 miles, the compensator blew up and it completely stopped.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Harley called me back and they're like, what did you do? I'm like, I didn't do nothing. They're like, well, this thing is in 7 pieces. It's your guys' fault.
Yeah. That's a stock engine. Fix it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, eventually I want to get it up there. It'll be big board heads, things like that. So it'll be not your grandpa's Ultra.
That's what I do, down the road when it comes time for a heart transplant on mine is looking at like the SNS around the 100 to the 106.
Yeah.
Don't want to go overboard. I still want the longevity. I mean, indoor, touring, but like I said earlier, it's nice to have that little bit more oomph when you want to, pull a couple, 2, 3, 4 far pass and get out of the way and have that extra oomph when you need it, but still try to keep the reliability of not going overboard, I guess, is a way. The whole performance scene. I mean, I still enjoy touring. I, enjoy getting out and riding a lot and still want to just try to keep the longevity of the engine, enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at to me, I keep bringing them up, but Colin's bike is one of the best examples of that. His is a 124, and he's got, I think the last time I talked to him, he said like 40,000 miles on that 124, and those are 40,000 hard miles. And then, people's other complaint is fuel economy. Well, when we went on that trip down there, he was getting better fuel economy than me. And my 114 with a cam and his 124 twin cam was doing better on fuel.
Yeah, I talked to him about the same thing after the first round, when I first rode with him on the Monsters Over Mountains, and we were talking about engines. He's like, he goes, great. He goes, but honestly, he goes, for, what you like, he's like, don't do what I did. He goes, it's stupid. He goes, do the 111. He goes, it'd be great for, what you're talking about and everything you need. He goes, you probably get it, like he said, a little bit better economy wise. He goes, but that 111, he goes, is a great motor.
Yeah.
He goes, what I'm doing, it's fun. He goes, but I wouldn't do it for what you want.
Yeah. So, but, and that's the same with my Ultra too. I'll probably end up just doing a 128. Maybe a 132, but I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, come on. Get a hold of Moonshine, man. Get like a 140. 140. What, they got the 145 now?
Yeah. Yeah, no thanks.
Hey, come on. They always say bigger is better, right?
Yeah. That's what they say. I'm going to see that's what I want to do. I want to see how much we can get out of a smaller motor, and realistically too, because sometimes, you see all these numbers on Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that of people, well, I'm a cam 114 and I'm making 130 horse and this, that, and the other. And it's like, no, you're not, be realistic. Right. So, numbers are cool, but it's where the tire meets the pavement that it really counts. So,
yeah. And it's like, funny thing, I got the book to mine right here when I all got built. I got the dyno tuning for mine. I think I'm putting out like a whopping 89 horse or 90. Mm-hmm. But you know what? It still works, and I enjoy the hell out of it, and I've been able to ride a tremendous amount of miles, and I enjoy the shit out of the bike. Is it the most powerful? Nope, but I have fun. Does what I want to do.
Yeah.
I do want another one.
Yeah, I ride mine like it's a race bike. The Ultra, it gets ridden pretty hard. Put
I
away
love
with
the color scheme of yours. The colors of the black with the like orange paint
yeah, they
striping.
call it the Apex paint job. It's black with orange stripes or orange stripes on the windows, and then the windows are silver barn shields.
Yeah, it's a good looking color combination.
Yeah, that's honestly one of the only reasons I bought the bike. Actually, I bought it because the Road Glide was a little too rowdy for long hauls, and the wife wasn't happy about it. She wanted a tour trunk, and we got down to California, and it was 113 on one of our rides, and the bike wasn't happy, and the wife wasn't happy. So I bought the Ultra because it's the twin cooled, and I'd like to do. I'm going to be doing some setup on that to where we're running the liquid cooled heads, and then ultra cool. I'm going to be running their cooler, oil cooler, in the leg fairing. So going to be seeing what I can do with keeping the bike cool there, because the Road Glide I had was not happy at 113.
No, that's hot. Especially for even like with mine with the twin cam. We came back from Sturgis last year, and we were hitting the 106 to 108 degrees through Idaho, and yeah, we were stopping more frequently. I mean, also for us also to get out of the heat, but you could tell the engine was wanting to break too.
Yeah,
it's hot.
Oh yeah, I've got a good story about that one. So we're on the coast, riding the coastline down, and we go to head inwards east, right around Bakersfield area. We're heading into Bakersfield down in California, and I'm telling her, I'm like, you need to put a white long sleeve shirt on because it's going to get hot, and you need to keep the sun off of you. And she just had a tank top on, and I was like, you'll be able to douse yourself with water and stay cool. And she's like, no, I'll be fine. I was like, okay, I'm just telling you right now.
That's an oven through there.
Yeah. So we get on the freeway, and she's like, yeah, we need to pull over. And I'm like, well, we're, quite a few miles away, like 30 minutes away from the closest gas station. So there's nothing I can do. And she's like, well, okay, I'll stay on there. And so like she's getting it, I'm doing about 90, 95, trying to get to this gas station to get her cooled off. And I'm playing, the game of overheating my bike because I've got the gauge on there watching the head temp, and head temp is spiking 350. And so I'll roll off the throttle, and let it come down to about, 320. And then I'm back on the throttle again, trying to get there. And she's, in my ear, I don't feel good. And I'm like, I'm trying to get there as fast as I can. We get there and get her in there, and finally get her cooled down. We had to spend about 25 minutes there to get her, her body temp down.
Yeah.
And finally, I was like, you're going to put the shirt on now. And she's like, okay. And so got 2 shirts, long white sleeve shirts, and, loaded up with water bottles, and pretty much every, 15 to 20 minutes, just dumping water bottles on ourselves, trying to stay cool.
I really wish that area, they would make I-5 4 lanes each way instead of 2 when there's so nothing through there.
It'd be so nice.
It's like, why the fuck is this 2 lanes each way? This is stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but the twin cooled stuff, I want to be able to handle that type of temperature better.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. That's a smart move.
At least that's my thought. Whether or not it's going to work in practice, we have yet to know. So,
hey, but at least you'll be able to find out and know for sure.
Yeah. So I just like doing, finding out questions or answers to the questions that I have about riding. So,
well, and the smart thing, because if you go down the road and if it works like you're thinking, it's just going to save your motor. It's going to last even longer.
Right.
The motor's going to work more efficiently, and it's going to increase its lifespan. No, I'm curious to see what it comes about it. I want to find out.
Yeah. So I like doing that type of nerdy stuff.
And no, I mean, and it's also, I mean, I agree. It's fun, and I enjoy nerding out on some shit, but it's also when you're looking at something that's going to save yourself in the long run, possibly. Then, heck yeah, let's go down here and see what happens.
Yeah. So.
For sure. So, you got any more other adventures coming up this year?
Adventures, no. Right now, I'm just trying to get through all the bikes I have in the shop. Man, I've been blessed. It's taken off ever since I've opened the shop, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've sent you a picture at the beginning of the week, and there's 12 bikes in the shop. And, I'm one person. I have a little 800 square foot shop, and to have 12 bikes in here is just crazy, man. Every night I'm pushing them all in the shop. Every morning I'm pushing them all out of the shop and just trying to get as many bikes as I can done, all while doing, my 3D printing and designing and, fielding calls and doing this, that, and the other, trying to make it all work.
But you know what? Having more bikes than you want, I guess it's a blessing because people appreciate what you do and they know your knowledge and want to come support it because they know they're going to get what they want in the end game. I think this is awesome. It's something awesome for you and, stands for what you're doing and what you want to go.
Yeah. The number one thing I hear is I'm happy to have somebody local. That's what I hear from all the customers. They just happy to have somebody here in town, local to them. That's not the dealer.
Yeah. And we all know, the dealer, aka the dealership.
Yeah. So, I had one customer come in. The dealer told him he needed a crank, and it was just a loose compensator bolt. So, sometimes you run into stuff,
dude. And it's crazy how a compensator bolt will come loose when you torque those things so ungodly.
Okay.
Fuck.
Well, that new rear axle torque too is 145. Compensator bolt for the M8s is 175.
Yeah, I think for my twin cam, I think it was 165 or 185.
Yeah.
When I replaced the stator.
Yeah. Oh man, I got stories about stators. I sheared the hub out of one of the rotors. I burned up my old stator in the roadglide, put a whole new stator rotor and regulator on, and then like a week or two later, sheared the hub right out of the rotor.
I put a complete brand new stator, regulator, everything in mine, and it lasted for like a month. And when I got to Sturgis last year in 22 to meet everybody for the Hoka Hay, the whole fucking system failed as I pulled into Black Hills Harley-Davidson. And so the one time I had to eat the bullet, and luckily they got my bike in that day and they were able to get it fixed. But it's like, damn it, because you can't do a stator on the side of the road. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Not really.
Yeah. That's a little bit more difficult.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I got for this year. Nothing really too big. Next year, the wife and I are going to ride out to Pennsylvania and see some family out there, and then continue on to Chicago and ride the Route 66 all the way down to LA.
Oh, that'll be freaking awesome.
And then the plan is to hit all of the 66. So I know a couple of people told us you have to go where it dead ends and turn around and, come back to it. So we're going to do as much of that as possible.
Hey, that's what I was going to ask. So all your 3D printing, do you, print those little shoes and go in your primary chain when you want to loosen shit to, like, pulling a clutch or whatnot when you got to undo that goes between the gear and the...
So that's another thing too. Like, they got all the Harley tools and this, that, and the other that you can buy, and, a couple $100 in tools. I just make my own seal drivers, that chain wedge that you put in there for doing that. I printed that, and I mean, they break. I mean, I've got like soft jaws here for my vise. So those are 3D printed. pretty much any problem I run into, I just run back to my computer, draw something up, and then throw it on the printer. So,
and having that ability and skill, it's got to be just awesome.
Yeah. And
in
I
a
mean,
way,
sometimes it's more efficient to just buy the tool because it's, 20, 50, $100, and the time is not worth me sitting there and designing something up and this, that, and the other. But sometimes I can knock them out so quick that it's like, yeah, I might as well just make this seal myself, or the seal driver myself, or soft jaws or other tools that I've done.
Well, and then so I mean, you have it, so obviously then your drawing saves. So say you break it, then you could, I don't know exactly how long, time wise for the 3D printing, but you have the drawing there already, and I'm sure it beats a couple 2-3 day shipping.
Well, yeah, that chain wedge, I think I'm on my like 4th or 5th one that I've broken. But I mean, I've got the file in there, so once I start to see it go, I just hit print, and I think that thing takes 5 hours to print. So in 5 hours, I have a new tool.
Yeah, I guess you see the crack. Okay, cool. I'll start working on this, and let me just print that out, and we'll come back to that later today.
Yeah, and then I use it for the prototyping as well. So, I brought up earlier Cobalt Cycles. I'm going to be getting with them on actually doing billet parts, and then I have a local machinist here that I do a lot of my billet parts with now. I've helped some other companies with their designs for like light mounts and things like that. T-Town Customs with their KC lights, their light mounts I've helped with. But with the 3D printer, it helps me bring something to life. So like I have these sitting here. So here's a 3D printed twin cam derby cover. Right. So
nice.
I draw it up, make sure it fits, make sure everything looks how I want it to. And then I send that drawing to whoever is going to be machining it. For my stuff, it's the local guy. And then he'll come out and he'll machine the billet ones.
Oh, that's freaking awesome looking.
So, going from plastic to metal. So.
Right. Dude, that looks really good.
Thank you. Or like one of the most recent things, have you seen Brett with Cherry City Bagger Bars, his Road King?
Not as Road King, no.
The Raw King. It's a bunch of billet parts. It's an awesome looking bike. So on that bike, he had bought an LP6 and triple trees and a Road Warrior fairing. And Brad and I actually built it as a collab build between Crash Inc. and ADHD Cycles. And we get all the front end put together, and I go to put the factory like Road King nacelle back on, and I look at Brad, and I'm just like, I'm not putting this back on. He goes, huh? And I'm like, he just spent, $800 on trees, billet trees, and all this other stuff, and we're going to throw this nacelle on and cover all this up. And he goes, yeah. And so I called Brett. I'm like, Brett, I'm not throwing this on. And he goes, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, I will build you a custom bracket. And so for his, we built a custom bracket to hold the LP6 in the Road Warrior fairing. So the front of his bike is completely naked. Brad and I routed all the brake lines and hydraulic lines down one side of the neck, all the wiring down the other side of the neck. And so it's super clean, but just solving issues like that. So, I mean, for his, it's he's got a one-off headlight bracket that nobody has.
No, that's freaking cool.
So, and that's honestly my favorite part of doing this stuff. I like obviously building engines, doing your normal bolt-on stuff, but solving issues is one of my favorite things. That's why I became an engineer, is just solving issues. So,
yeah, that's what I got to do soon with my auxiliary fog lights. I mounted my crash bars, but I want to actually make the brackets will be inside the crash bar support, because that way where they're mounted now, I can't put my soft lowers on. And in the fall, the soft lowers make a huge difference.
Yeah.
But I also like, I have the co-light LEDs for nighttime riding,
Yeah.
which make a huge difference. They're great, but I need to relocate and make a brackets where I can still have my soft lowers on in the fall and still have my lights.
Yeah. Yeah. I've done a few of those things too. Like Brad was running some of my auxiliary lights. I was running them on mine. But just pretty much riding, finding an issue and solving that. And, sometimes the ideas are really good. And sometimes, I have a hard time saying, well, people will buy this if I make it, and Brad down here, I mean, that dude's an instigator for getting stuff going. Like, so you need to do it. You need to do it. Everybody's going to like this. And, and so it's been nice to have that type of stuff going on. But at the same time, like putting my effort into designing takes time away from building bikes in the shop. So doing both of these things at once has been a bit difficult, I should say.
Yeah, I can see trying to find the balance.
Yeah. I mean, even stuff as simple as like I built, when people are doing these builds, they're taking the nacelles off and you have that tree nut, right, for the triple trees.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just an exposed nut. And so I started printing these little plastic covers that just go over the top of those. And Brad started pushing those right away. And one day he was like, "Oh, I'm posting these." And I'm like, "You can do what you want, Brad." And so he posted them. And that day I had like 3 or 4 people get a hold of me. "Hey, I want one of those." And so it's like, okay, well, now I got to actually make them, what I believe is worth selling, right? Because I don't want to sell something to somebody and it not be up to par or them be disappointed with a product because I can't handle that type of negativity, or I don't even know how to say it.
No, I totally get it. It's like, I have woodworking as a hobby, like I'll build stuff. Oh my God, I love that. I'm like, why? It's like, cause I can see the flaws. I know what's wrong with them. Like,
Yeah.
And you're your own worst critic. And I totally understand where you're coming from because I do the same thing, when it comes to, doing woodworking stuff, which I enjoy. And yeah, you look something like, oh, this is fucking horrible. But the other person, oh, this is great. I'm like, no, it's not this, this didn't line up perfect here. There's a flaw in that cut here. And it's just the little tiny details that you or I see in something you build, but the person on the other end, like, oh no, this is great. It's not, but yeah, I get it.
Yeah. And then, I mean, another thing would be like bringing products to market, right? Like, I know you've seen it and a lot of other people have seen it. And I talked to Colin a lot about this, is that some products come to market and you're like, you get it and you're, this is 90% done. Maybe, why am I having to buy 3 or 4 more parts to run this one part that you sold me? Why didn't you sell me everything? Or why didn't you design it to where I don't have to buy these other parts? So that is one of my biggest things. I don't want you to have to do a bunch of extra work just to run my part.
Makes sense.
So although on the gauge relocations, you do have to modify the gauges a little bit on mine. But it makes it cleaner and sleeker. So
it looks better.
Yeah, it looks way better. So I actually have Adam from That Damn Moto Fam. That's what's actually printing right now is his gauge relocation.
Oh, nice.
So
he seems super cool. It was fun chit chatting with him.
Oh yeah, he's funny. So yeah, there's a lot of great people down here. I mean, it's funny. You go to like the events that they put on down in the Salem area, and you're going to see the same group of people. You're going to see myself, Brad, Darren with Moto Madness, Brett with Cherry City Bagger Bars, Frank with LFG. Like it's the same group of people, and it's just it's a hell of a time down here. It's so much fun.
Brett's been really cool. I remember I got to meet him when I was down there last year, and he showed up with like a freaking Safeway bag full of fucking burritos. Here, guys, I got lunch.
Yeah.
Just shows up, starts handing out burritos. I'm like,
yeah,
damn.
Yeah, it's a great time, man. And the group of guys we have down here, I mean, at any weekend, you can hit one of them up and somebody's doing a ride or somebody's doing this or somebody's doing that. So that's a lot of fun.
It's good support of guys down there.
Yeah, definitely is.
You hear it, a lot, like, we keep mentioning, like Brad, you hear it a lot from there. And then, times have been down to his place. It's like everybody's, hanging out in the shop or all working on shit and everybody's there.
Yeah. That's a good time.
Well, yeah, when everybody has, that you have that common ground and you enjoy the passion of bikes and you get with a good group of people that you get the support from and everybody's on the same page and it just makes it a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. So.
It is. So, well, shoot, man, thanks for coming and hanging out and talking the bikes, man. He goes, I think it's really cool what you got going on and, glad to share it and help to promote stuff you got going.
Well, thanks, man. Thanks for getting a hold of me. It's an honor to be on this. I haven't been at it too long and things have been looking up for me. So I can just hope to continue to build and become a staple in this industry. So.
Well, I mean, personally, from what I think a little bit of got to know you, whatnot, is you have a passion, you have a drive for it, and, you want to make it better.
Yeah.
No, man, I think it's awesome what you got going on, what you're doing, and, taking the plunge into it. But obviously, when you got a garage full of bikes and people are bringing stuff to you, that says, a lot for what you're doing and the product you're putting out and the quality of work that you're doing.
Yeah. I would just, like you said, I want to put out a better bike, right? If you bring me a bike, I want it to leave here better than when you brought it in. Now, better being, if you wanted suspension, if you wanted motor work, if you just wanted it cleaned up, not leaking, anything like that, man. I just want your bike to leave 100% better than when it got here. And one of my favorite things to do is like purpose-built bikes. So one of my newest customers, his name is Wubby Stunts on Instagram. He's just got into stunting a 21 road glide. And so we did suspension work. We did a chain drive, some internal motor work to help with the oiling during long wheelies and stuff like that. And so that kid's going to go pretty far on that build. But I mean, doing purpose-built bikes is a lot of fun. So.
I can imagine it'd be fun.
Yeah.
And then just seeing the end project, what you do when it rolls out and seeing people happy with your work. And, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to find little old me down here in Oregon.
Oh, man, I it's likewise, man. I appreciate you taking time out on a Sunday to come hang out for an hour. And I got a fly in front of me. There we go. But no, I appreciate it, man. It's a lot of fun. And it's why I do this. It's a lot of fun to meet people. You build those friendships and, the network of people and hear what they got going on and share stuff. I mean, I do this for fun because I enjoy it. I like to meet people that have that camaraderie, that, common ground. We all enjoy motorcycles. So it's easy to spark a conversation and talk about stuff. And to me, it's fun. I enjoy it so much.
Yeah.
So right on, man. Well, thank you. And thanks everybody for tuning in. Next Sunday, there will be nothing because I got the Monsters Over Mountains this coming weekend. We're going to be doing roughly 1,550 miles under 36 hours through Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. If you want to check that out, I will put a link down below in the comments of this video for the Give Butter if you'd like to make a donation. This is a Mile Monsters fundraiser ride where we're raising awareness for Duchenne's muscular dystrophy and also raising funds to help these boys live their best life because right now there's no cure for Duchenne's or what we call DMD. Unfortunately, it's a life sentence, and most of them by their late teens, that's when the disease will take them, and it's sad. So our goal is we want to put this disease in the public's eye. We want to get this more science, more funding, more college, education-wise for science, and do what we can to find a cure for this disease because no kid should die very young. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we will catch you in 2 weeks. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.